I mean, I moved well. I was sliding pretty well on the court. Normally, that's the thing that takes time to get used to. But I did that well today, and normally for me, that's a good sign on the clay, whether I'm playing well or not. And I mean, in practice, I've been hitting the ball well. It's just whether or not I'd be feeling comfortable with the movement, and I was happy with it, because normally sometimes it's taken me 2-3 weeks of tournaments before I started feeling good. Sometimes I've felt good after a few matches, and today was the first time I'd felt good in the first round.
Do you think that coming down here as soon as you did has been a benefit as well, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I've normally tried to get here, I mean, pretty relatively early, but I think practicing on the clay in the States was probably a good move. You know, I came back home and tried sort of practicing in London, and it wasn't really worth it. So it was good that I stayed in the States and actually got sort of 4 or 5 days on the clay there before coming back, because you know, if I'd come back earlier, I would have been practicing on hard courts, and the sooner I can get on this surface, for me, the better. So that was probably the better decision. Normally I've come here around the Wednesday, Thursday anyway.
Was that at Roehampton when you tried practicing?
Yeah.
What sort of clay were you playing on in the States?
The first day, right next to my apartment, there's green clay. There's a club, so we just went there first. So I mean, it's good for sliding and whatnot, which unfortunately they're turning into a car park in about a week, unfortunately. So I won't be able to do that anymore. And then we went to Boca Raton, which has got sort of red clay. It's not. I don't know if you saw the court in Houston. It's not sort of. It's slightly different to these ones, but you know, it's as good as I was going to get there, so it was perfect.
Was that Boca West or where in Boca?
It was in a place called Boca Grove. It's like a private estate that's got about. It's an unbelievable club. It's got loads of courts and a nice gym. So we were there for about three days. We went there.
Couldn't you buy up that clay court instead of turning it to a power?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great club. I mean, I'm really disappointed they're closing it down, because it's always busy when we go there. But I guess there's more money in people parking their cars there than people running around tennis courts. So money talks sometimes, unfortunately.
Is that the British club?
Yeah, it's Cliff Drysdale or something. And I think they've played before the tournament. A lot of the doubles guys do like a pro-am and stuff there, and it's a really nice club. It's a nice atmosphere. The people that run it are great, but yeah, it's gone in the next week or so.
Was it the weather that made the Roehampton attempt less successful than the Florida one?
Yeah, bit of the weather. Yeah, not only that, but yeah, the weather was contributed.
But all in all, a very satisfactory day. I mean, to be a good player like that, then dropping 3 games is a very good start to any sort of start part of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a good start. We've got doubles later, so hopefully can have a good match there. It'd be nice to get a win there with Jamie. But yeah, for that match today, it was very good. You know, getting off to a good start in the match as well helped and probably settled me down a little bit. Sometimes if it's close, tight, first set, first match on clay, kind of anything can happen, and you can start rushing. It's very easy on the clay to start rushing and making mistakes. But because I got ahead, I didn't need to do that.
Particularly happy with this serve? No break points?
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily my serve. It was more what I was doing after the serve. And, you know, I didn't serve many aces. I served, you know, a high percentage, but I wasn't going for big serves. You know, which is something that, depending on the opponent or whatever, you'll change. But it was what I was doing after the serves. It was more. Well, I mean, for me, I was happier with that because I wasn't getting that many free points with the serve. I was using it more to set the way I was playing the points up, rather than just going for free points, which on this court sometimes is important.
You said in Miami that you felt a couple of years ago you lacked quite a few things on clay. Do you feel that you're feeling quite complete now on the surface?
Well, each year I felt more comfortable, and it's just a surface that I think out of all of the surfaces, the more experience, for me anyway, the guys that have the most experience on the surface tend to do well here. It's not often that, you know, I don't think the last few years there's been guys that have come through on the clay courts and had their best tournaments on clay, because physically it's very demanding. The ball gets up very high on you, so strength plays a big part in the court, and the guys that understand it well, a guy like Ferrer, he just understands exactly what he needs to do on this surface, and there's a lot of guys like him that play their best tennis here, and they have a lot of experience from playing here as juniors, growing up on it, and spending more time on it on the tour, because for me, I don't play on it that often, so it's taken me more time to gain that experience.
Does that mean that Ivan is particularly valuable when he's talking about this surface, because he was so good at it, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, he was great on every surface, but yeah, as I just said him on the court, he only arrived this morning, so he's getting no credit for today's win, but he'll help me a lot, I think, the next 5-6 weeks. I'm probably not going to show this week necessarily, but again, in the build-up to the French Open and the time I spend with him after these two tournaments, the 5-6 days before Barcelona and the 4 or 5 days before the French Open, will be very, very beneficial. Yeah, Beneteau and Meltzer. I haven't played Beneteau for quite a while, and Meltzer felt like I used to play him quite a lot. I don't think I played him since Australian Open last year, possibly, I think. But yeah, I've always quite enjoyed playing against lefties, maybe not necessarily on this surface, but on other courts, and I had a good record against him. But he plays good tennis on the clay, and Beneteau had a good win yesterday against Granulars, and he's very experienced. He understands how to play well on this court. He's, I think, made the quarterfinals of the French once, so both tough players. Meltzer also, I think, did he make semis of the French? They know what they're doing, so it's going to be tough.